All right, we are live back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. I got Rich today. How we doing, Rich?
Hey Duke, doing great, man. We're almost at midway point of the week. Another hump day coming tomorrow, but can't complain. Doing great. How about you, man?
Oh, same here. Can't complain either. Nothing too crazy really going on other than we got the wild off season of college football. You know, um, it's going to be interesting off season. All kinds of changes throughout the college football. And for everybody out there watching, hit that like and subscribe button. We were off Monday. Everybody had a little bit of things going on, so we're back today, ready to get back after it. So, with that being said, just some things I found on social media. Rich, who will win their first national championship?
Who will win their
As
first
a
national?
yes, because Saban being gone. Uh, out of these fellers here, you got DeBoer, Sharon Moore, Marcus Freeman, Steve Sarkisian, James Franklin, Dan Lanning, and Brian Kelly.
I'm gonna go with Marcus. Mark, they were a couple plays away and upsetting Ohio State in the Natty this year. I think he's just gonna continue and build on that success and that momentum. All that money they collected with being in the playoff. I think they're in an upward trend. I would say for Notre Dame. Brian Kelly, no. Sark, I think Sark is a close second. Then Lanning, then Sharon, Franklin, and DeBoer. Brian Kelly last.
Um, I'll be interested to see. I guess I'll start on the left. Sark, I would say at some point Sark and Texas are going to be the betting favorite. Ohio State is now. I think at some point Sark and Texas are going to be the overall favorite going into the season. I think, and they'll be favorited throughout. Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. It's going to be an interesting. I'll be interested to see what they look like on offense. Um, you know, kind of what they do in the spring transfer portal window. I think will determine a lot of it. But I think Notre Dame is, a close second right there behind Texas. Michigan, very interesting, in my opinion, just to see what they get out of. I don't think the NCAA thing is going to. I mean, it's dropping. It's not going to be a good look. Does Sharon Moore survive it? Part of me wants to say yeah, just for the simple fact of
I wonder if they'll suspend him a couple games.
yeah, I think he'll get suspended a couple of games, and it is that whole thing is what it is. A lot of people want to get on it and beat a dead horse about it. I'm not going to. I think Michigan will probably, if everything that comes out of it is true, I think they'll get 21 and 22 vacated, and I think the first 5 wins of 23 will be vacated, or something like that. But I don't think they'll try to take their. I think they're going to try to take their natty. I think it'll be wrapped up in court, and quite honestly, I don't think the NCAA's got the teeth to fight in court, because they've the players. If the players decide they want to sue them, I think that's going to be an issue, and the whole postseason thing is a mess. Um, but DeBoer goes out, hires Ryan Grubb. I was told that it's going to be interesting how this works out, because if Alabama, goes to the playoffs, nothing really changed from DeBoer calling the plays to Grubb calling the plays, because it's going to be the same playbook. I'll find that interesting in itself when it comes to the Alabama stuff, just for the simple fact of I think they'll have an upgrade at quarterback. The Milrose stuff, I mean, I think everybody kind of seen that at the Senior Bowl, what that was, and I think that was
He needs to make the switch to tailback. He's no NFL quarterback, Duke. I mean, he was awful.
no. So I just don't see it. James Franklin got to get over the hump. Got to get over the hump.
He's got to.
There's nothing. I think if I had Carter on today, I think all of us are in an alignment that James Franklin's got to get over the hump, or because he's still riding, in my opinion, the win over Ohio State in 2016.
That was
there's
8 years ago.
Yeah, and I get it for some of the that are in the Penn State circle that are content because you are one bad hire away from being, Nebraska, or a Scott Frost trying to put it back together. And Oregon's very perplexing to me, because I think Dan's got a lot of mojo going on out there. I think it's the happening place to be, because they're paying the most money.
Right.
Let's keep it 100 on that aspect of it. They're paying the most money.
What are they paying? $30 million?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that some of the Ohio State people are like, oh my God, they're paying that much money. You're buying a roster. Well, isn't that the same shit you guys just did last year?
Well, they brought back a lot of the seniors.
It's the same thing. The payroll's going to be high to retain a lot of talent.
It is, but they ain't go out and get guys in the. I mean, they may got 4 guys out of the portal.
Yeah, I mean, you bought a roster. Congratulations, you bought a national championship. I'm sure the risk reward is there, but at some point you gotta look yourself in the mirror and say it's the Yankees Dodgers here, because it's all about resources.
It is, and Oregon has way more resources than Ohio State.
And yeah, Carter brings up a good point about that kid from LSU, that Brian Kelly kind of just left him in the gutter after that kid got in that, I believe it was a car accident or something. I seen a snippet of that interview. It was pretty sad to watch. Brian Kelly's just kind of a sad sack. He's a sad sack.
Yeah.
I don't think. Talk about somebody who's won. That they want to. Carter always wants to get on my ass about Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin. How about Brian Kelly? Brian Kelly has stole more with a pen than anybody in college football. He's the last time he won anything of significance was at Cincinnati.
How long he was there for? 4 or 5 years at Cincinnati?
I think 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
He was at Cincinnati for 2 or 3, and he went like 11-2, like 2 years in a row, and parlayed that into the Notre Dame job.
Yeah.
And then somehow gets the Notre Dame job, and then parlays that into LSU. I mean, I don't know who his agent is, but it's got to be Jimmy Sexton. Has to be.
Yeah.
So it's
to me he just rubs me the wrong way. Like he just there's just something about him I just can't get behind. You know what I'm saying, Duke?
I mean, he's won a bunch of games, but when the talent's equal, the X's and O's aren't there for me. That's why he's never won any big games. What do we got here from Charger? Duke, who will the Steelers play at quarterback in 2025? They're probably either it's going to be Fields and probably whoever they draft. Hopefully it's Jackson Dart. That's what I'm hoping for.
They're going to draft Jalen Milroe.
Moving on. Matt Rule is ruffling some feathers here with some of the things going on about canceling the spring game. What are your thoughts on this?
That is very interesting. Why? Well, I mean, you got to see your guys get ready for the season. I mean, leading into summer camp. Why cancel? I mean, I know why, but it makes sense. But you still need to see what how everybody's progressed from last season into spring ball. Wouldn't you think?
I think Matt Rule's still a sandwich from a toddler. This is just my quick thoughts on it. I think the spring game is overblown. I know a lot of people like it and they like to go back and go do the whole he old good old time thing. But realistically, like, what are we looking at? Because half of everybody's, I think it's an open kimono for scouting and tampering.
Right. I mean, I would go to the OSU spring game religiously. I would go down, and that's where guys were hitting. Urban would have the guys hitting, and when Tress was there, they were hitting. But the last couple times I've gone, it's
all it is
kind of just waste. It's just
two-hand
touch.
But also here's my whole grandioso thing on it. All these coaches in this profession want to sit up there and they want to bitch and they want to moan about people tampering. If you're going to complain about it, start adding the people. That's all I'm saying. But you know why you won't do that? Because you're tampering too.
Get your hand caught in a cookie. They don't want to get their hands caught in a cookie jar.
Exactly. And one of the crazy things is how they do it is let's say Richie, you go to Ohio U, and I'm the head coach at Kentucky, and Carter's your high school coach. I can't pick up the phone, text, or call you, right? All I got to do is call Carter and say, hey, what about that junior you got that's on the roster? Is he going to be a player? And Carter would go through oh, yeah, I think he's going to be a player. Oh, yeah, by the way, you still talk to Richie down there at Ohio U? Be like, yeah, I talk to him all the time. We'll tell him I got 1.5 for him if he gets in the portal. That's a fact. Don't text me about it either. Just call me. All right, got to go.
Yeah, you don't want to leave a paper trail. That's the thing, Duke.
Nope. And that's how it's done.
Yeah.
That is a fact on how it's done. And I can't get on board with the people that are in the whole tampering thing. Like Kansas State was tampering their ass off. I mean, you don't think Ohio State tampered with Will Howard? But, I mean, he was getting in the portal regardless.
Right.
That's like Carson Beck had a no-contact order when he got in the portal. You don't think he knew where he was going?
Oh, he knew where he was going. His agent got a phone call from somebody down there somewhere. Maybe like this perfect scenario, like you were saying, his high school coach. Hey, something might be open down in Miami. You might want to.
And I'm not even saying it's even the high school coach. Somebody that's not even affiliated with the program can pick up the phone and call his agent and just be like, hey, Miami, I heard, is offering this. I mean, they paid him $10 million. The big thing is that we're going to see if the Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck thing is the tales of two halves on that is what I'm looking at.
Yep.
Because Carson Beck got $10 million. We'll see what Quinn gets. for coming out, but I just don't.
When's the deadline? The deadline is already passed for the draft, though, right?
I think
To
it's
declare.
going to be the next couple of days. But
I'm thinking Quinn goes to USC.
no, I don't think he's going to withdraw his name. I think they're getting good feedback.
Are they getting? Yeah.
And because at some point the quarterback, there's only 4 of them in this draft that I think will that will pan, maybe pan, that have a good shot. I think it's Quinn Ewers, I think it's Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, and Cam Ward. Out of all of them, do I think there's one guy that you can look at and say he is a bona fide superstar? I think it's Cam Ward, and I think it's Jackson Dart are the 2 that I like out of this. I think Quinn turns the ball over too much, and I think Cam Ward is too loose with it. And I think he'll turn it over a bunch in the NFL, and if you throw a lot of picks, you ain't gonna last very long in the NFL.
3 years max, and get benched and get demoted to the UFL. I think Shedeur and Jackson Dart.
I think Shedeur could be good if he goes to the right situation.
You took the words right. If he goes to the right place,
and that's just something. But even so, but yeah, I just think it's funny that with the whole tampering thing, you have all these, like Narduzzi was one that was real big because he lost the Addison kid a few years back about they tampered. See, they tampered. Well, I don't know what you're going to do about that. Also, one of the things that I find very interesting is I don't know if they're going to get rid of the handshake line at the end of games. I don't know, because I think
to prevent like
tampering.
Tampering.
Because you don't think that somebody
coaches are going up to kids like, hey.
Because like, wow. What was he talking to you about? Oh, he recruited me at one point in time. No, he didn't.
Telling me to come to Jackson, Jackson A&M or some shit,
It's just the tampering thing, the audacity is what kills me.
Yeah.
It is
very hypocritical. But like you said, everybody does it, but nobody's gotten caught yet.
They won't do anything about it.
Yeah, because you're essentially telling on yourself if you do that.
Oh yeah. It was like the old adage: if you look close enough, there's shit in everybody's front yard.
That's a new one. I've not heard that one.
I mean, eventually, because that when the whole thing blew up at Ole Miss, like with whenever Hugh was doing when they signed Robert Kadici and Laramie Tunsil and that whole mess, all that's legal now. That's why I don't know why Jeremy Pruitt doesn't sue to get reinstated, because what he did was legal. And everybody, and this
those McDonald's French fries looking a little extra crispy.
And the crazy thing is that they'll have instances like that, but at some point, people want to, I love NIL. Well, then why are you taking shots at Tennessee for McDonald's fry bags? Well, but if you say anything about Ohio State, well, what Terrell and they did was legal. Okay, you traded tattoos for merch. What's wrong with just cash? Like, what's the big deal? It's all legal now. What are we doing? It's 2025.
What are we doing? Yeah.
It's like the marijuana should be decriminalized. Well, okay. It's all the same thing. It's like getting arrested for wax or weed. It's the same thing. I don't get what the jumping off point on this. But
Always moving the goalposts,
well, you are the block O, you can't do anything wrong.
Well, that is the standard down in Columbus. You can't do no wrong, Duke.
But anyway, with that being said, producer Ed has a commercial for us that with one of our new partners, and we'll reset the show here.
Guys, if you have been watching the show for a while, if you're like me, that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP pouches, ALP pouches, the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time with ALP pouches. A better time isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. We love nicotine pouches and we're here to share that love. Better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about ALP pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength. And amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom, we've made the product they never could. So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's ALPPOUCH.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard.
Yes, sir. There it is. ALP pouches. Everybody check that out. Me and Carter have made the switch. It's good stuff. If you watch it out there on Twitter or watch it on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button to help us grow this show. That is one thing that we are definitely working on doing. Trying to grow the show as much as possible here going forward. We took the day off, but we are back now. So, with that being said, another thing I found on the internet is this interesting graphic whenever it comes to the conferences. It's what your boy Josh Pate has came up with as the perfect conferences. You have nothing changing in the SEC other than Vanderbilt being independent. The Big Ten gets rid of all the add-ons. Hello. But the Big Ten gets rid of all the add-ons, and I'm trying to think of what else we had there. You revamp the Big East, which I like that.
You go back to the Big Eight. Kind of.
The Southwest Conference, I would rather see Arkansas in the SEC and Vandy in the SEC. That's just me. I think you put Vandy and Arkansas back in the SEC. I think you leave Northwestern in the Big Ten because they've been there so long.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Southwest Conference works because Texas, Texas Tech, SMU, Baylor, A&M, TCU, Rice, Houston, and Oklahoma. That is clumped all together right there.
I think the way he did it, that's perfect. You have Maryland going back to the ACC. The Pac-10 reemerges.
Yeah, and I like the Big Eight. The only thing that I would push back on that is I would put BYU in that conference because I think they fit.
Yeah, they fit. Yeah, geographically they would fit there with the Big Eight.
And I
Call them
think
the big.
that you could put Arkansas back there, or even put Oklahoma in the Big Eight, which is an original member.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could put Oklahoma there. I think Oklahoma fits there, and I think BYU does, because you would have BYU, Oklahoma, Utah, Colorado, Missouri, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Iowa State, Kansas State, in Kansas. So I think all those schools fit together. The Pac-10, the original Pac-10, goes back to what it was. I just think USC, UCLA, Oregon State, Washington State, Cal, Stanford, Arizona State. I mean, that's the original Pac-10.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the 9 conference games, and then you can do the rotation, and then the ACC fits too. And it leaves Notre Dame as the sole independent. You have Miami, Florida State, North Carolina, NC State, Clemson, Wake Forest, Duke, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Maryland. That's the old ACC. So it pretty much, the only thing you're really doing is chopping up the money with the SEC. But that's the old. I think you put Arkansas back in the SEC with Vandy, and Oklahoma goes.
I think you put BYU in the Pac-10. Call them the Pac-11.
I'd much rather see BYU playing Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Missouri, Colorado, Utah, because they're all right there geographically.
Yeah, and you do want that holy war with BYU and Utah.
I'm not big into splitting that up. That's why I would rather see Oklahoma in the Big Eight. So that's just me on that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strange. Well, I don't find it necessarily really strange, but I think the Southeast Conference reemerges. They want to talk about students first and athlete travel and saving resources. I think that Texas, if you take Arkansas and Oklahoma out of there, you ain't got to leave the state of Texas for a conference game. The farthest you got to travel is Lubbock if you're Houston.
Yep.
You stay in the entire state. That's what the old Southwest Conference was. And you get some of those rivals. If you can get some type of revenue sharing and get Rice on the same page, and Baylor. I think some people would like to go back to seeing that. Everybody.
I mean, like you said, Duke. Nobody. When's Ohio State gonna play Oregon again? Not till 2026.
Yeah.
You're not playing everybody in your conference, and that's kind of, how can you call yourself a conference if you're not playing everybody?
And I mean, every year the Big Ten, when you had your 8 conference games, you didn't play one person. You had the protected rivalry, and it would always rotate.
Yep.
So,
and I think too, they got to go away with scheduling those cupcake games early up in the season. Yes, there's no preseason game, but no, you play everybody in your conference, and then you schedule 3 games from, let's say Ohio State will schedule Ole Miss, BC, and Texas Tech. There's your 12 games. You don't need to be playing MAC schools.
And I also think bringing the Big East back would be huge.
That would be, yeah.
Having West Virginia, Cincinnati, UConn, UCF, Syracuse, Rutgers, Louisville, Pitt and BC. I think having that all in one conference would be good.
Totally agree.
So,
and like just kind of like how the NFL does with their scheduling now with the season with the 17 games. You schedule, let's say the Southwest, Ohio State plays something. They play, if they wherever they placed, if Ohio State placed fourth, they play Baylor second, third week of the game. There's the third week of the year.
yeah, and I like Arizona, Arizona State, Cal, and Stanford all going back to one conference. I think them being in the eight, them in the. I don't necessarily hate Arizona State in the Big 12. I think they did something that made the most sense. And Stanford and Cal just, I mean, they're like Oregon State and Washington State. They're just so far out of the way. Nobody wants to travel up there.
No.
And then
and the time, with the teams in the Pac in the Big Ten, they're going cross country to come and play games and all those expenses. It's the expansion is great, but what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, these are college athletes too, and they need to be able to take care of what they're doing inside the classroom too. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a student athlete or football player, having to go cross country to go play a game, and then prepare for a midterm.
Yeah, I also think that I don't think anybody cares anymore.
No, I mean, no.
But then again, if you looked at guys with the Senior Bowl, they had 3-4 stickers on there. So are these guys really even graduating? Some of them.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, prime example. He had what three decals? He had UCF, OU, and Oregon.
Yep. But
I can only imagine what JT Daniels' helmet would have been if he would have played in that game years ago.
But I think Oklahoma dropped the ball on that deal.
Oh, they did.
I don't think it panned out like they wanted it to. I don't think it even was something that they even wanted to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it worked in their favor. So Oklahoma just got to figure it out. I think if Venables has another season like last year, I think they'll can him.
They'll can him, and he'll
probably go back to Clemson.
Yeah, he'll go back to Clemson with.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Tom Allen's there, so Brent Venables is going to be on the street looking.
I think Tom Allen is a good defensive coordinator.
I think so too. I think that the Indiana thing, I don't know how to feel about that because Cignetti showed up and is killing it. I think Cignetti knew how to use the portal to his favor. So I just feel like that, Tom kind of didn't have any resources. Cignetti came into Indiana and got them all pumped up, and that's what happened. But it would be interesting to see the old Big Ten again.
It would, and I mean, I like the idea. You schedule 3 or 4 games from the other conferences as well. There's your 12 games, dude. Not playing Grambling State, not playing the Citadel, Chattanooga, A&M.
Yeah.
A&MU or whatever.
I mean, it's like when they got in trouble, doing all the trying to overschedule these games, but anyway, we'll move on to the next topic. Cook arrested on multiple charges. I find this very interesting. Johnny Cook arrested on multiple charges.
You know who's making a call to him, right?
Man, that is.
What did he get charged with? Do we even know?
I'm not 100%. I can look that up real quick, but
Let me
it's. Or you got it?
Yeah, let me look here.
But it's, one thing that is tough in the off season. You just got to stay out of trouble.
So he left Texas in November.
So he dipped on Sark. What did he do?
I'm still looking here.
That is
Cook former. Okay, hold on. All right, I think I found it. He was arrested in Fort Lauderdale on charges of interfering with public duty and theft of property between $100 to $750. No bond was listed. Cook, a former 5-star in the 2023 class, left the team in November. That's really it. That's all it says from Fox 13 out of Seattle the article that I pulled up.
Yeah, let's not forget that he's not one of the kids that when Washington had that big to do when those two football players jumped that one student, are they?
I don't know.
That nobody brought up, but I don't think he's one of them. But
I don't think so. No.
But yeah, so I'm assuming he's going to get kicked off the team at I'm assuming he's going to get kicked off the team at Washington. The thing that I'm seeing is his former Longhorns DeSoto receiver arrested in Fort Worth after stealing car keys in a drive-through, police say.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Duke, I'll be right back. I gotta take care of something. 1 second.
Oh, you're all good, man. It says Dallas Fort Worth. It's pretty much what I'm reading is that the kid ain't making good decisions, and that is the transfer portal era that we're dealing with right now. That is a big problem. That I hate to be that guy, but that's the problem. You can't save them all. 20-year-old. It's funny because you get people that want to call them grown ass men, and you let them make big boy decisions, and you let them make grown ass men decisions, and this is what you end up with sometimes. And you got a hint of professional footballism to it. The NFL is no character or not shy about having people arrested. Sounds like this kid's making bad decisions, and if Sark or anybody that tried to correct that, it seems like he didn't want any correction, and he gets in the transfer portal every time. I don't know the kid personally, but when you're starting to put a track record of a pattern behavior, it's just like the DBs that one of the biggest things is that a lack of taking responsibility for your own actions, I think, is one of the biggest issues that you see nowadays. And you'll have somebody that completely holds somebody on a play, and then the ref throws a flag and they just go palms up. The biggest pet peeve of mine is that it's just, what the hell are you doing? And Yeah, Carter says transferred to Washington, theft and other charges. So yeah, I'm assuming the kid must be in. He's in it deep, and going to be a very interesting endeavor on how this pans out. In other news, we'll move along and reset the show here for the final segment. If you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button on this fine on this fine Tuesday. So help us grow this thing. We took a day off. We did 27 live streams last month. Probably going to be close to that this month. February is a short month. It goes quick, fast, and in a hurry. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. Richie will be back in a minute. Cooper Kupp is set to be traded. I find this interesting. I don't know where he's going to land. I would assume Cooper Kupp's going to land with a contender. Outside of the Rams, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the. I think McVay will be pretty fair. The Rams have been pretty fair about trading guys. So I think he'll be okay. And another person looking for a trade is Myles Garrett, Mr. Cleveland himself. I have a lot of thoughts on this one. I think that here is Myles Garrett's statement. Yeah, I mean, you can say it's tough decision these past 8 years. I just, can you blame him? I mean, seriously, can you blame him for this? I don't think you can blame him at all. What have they won? One playoff game in Myles Garrett's tenure, and I think they've only made the playoffs once in 8 years. The amount of losing seasons, and the losing stacks up on it, and Cleveland's a tough place to be. A lot of complaining from the fans, but I think the Browns fans have a right to be pissed off because look at Baker Mayfield. The Baker thing is a bad look. Two playoff appearances, including last year. Okay, but that was the Flacco effect. I don't necessarily think that. I just don't see it. I don't see a path forward for Myles Garrett in Cleveland that is going to be amicable for both sides. Also, the problem is that if you keep him, I think in order to move Myles Garrett, you're gonna have to move up some. He's gonna have to give up some money to go somewhere. Possible landing spots for people that are close to the Super Bowl. I would say possibly Detroit. Him and Aiden Hutchinson on either side. It's very rough to try to put him somewhere, depending on what the mood is with Cleveland, if they're going to be be sustainable in this whole entire thing. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to put him in Vegas. Tom Brady pulling the strings there. You'd have him and Max Crosby on one side of the ball, or on either side of the ball. So it's kind of a rough endeavor there. Moving on, we'll go to the quarterback battles of 2025. This should be very interesting. Moving forward, there's quite a few. I think that Jackson Arnold will win the job in Auburn. I think he's probably their best bet. The interesting one's going to be Alabama. I think Ty Simpson will narrowly win that job, and whoever the backup is will be the most popular guy in Tuscaloosa by far. What will Dion do with Caden Salter versus Julian Lewis? I almost want to say that Juju may win that job. I think Stockton keeps the job in Georgia. And I just don't know how you don't play Bryce Underwood at this point. I just don't know how you don't do it. That's kind of my sentiment on it. I don't know how you don't play him, and I think CJ Carr will probably emerge at Notre Dame. And when it comes to Ohio State, this is what is the second or third year in a row they got a QB battle coming into the season. So I would say Julian Sayin is the front runner. I want to say Keenholz will stay. I don't think he's going to hit the portal because Air and Devin Brown have already got up and got out of town. That's just kind of the nature of the business now at the University of Ohio State. It's but I think there was a stat that I seen today that 60% of top 10 quarterbacks transfer. So it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary to see some of these guys transfer in the spring window. Alabama has a delicate situation. Rich is back.
I'm back, boys. Everybody.
We're just going over Cooper Kupp. I don't know, just a real recap fast. Went over the Cooper Kupp thing. I don't know where he's going to ultimately land. I would say somewhere like Kansas City. I don't know.
I think he's going to go to the Jets because G5 is going to be he wants out.
I don't know what the Rams' long-term game plan is because do you start the rebuild process?
You're going to need to get a quarterback here soon because Matt Stafford he's what? I'm 38, so he's 35. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to start the rebuild process. I mean, they just lost their passing game coordinator to be the offensive coordinator down in Houston with C.J. Stroud. So I think it's going to be a full-blown rebuild. I mean, they did make the playoffs this year. So,
yeah.
Cooper Kupp, they're going to try and stockpile draft picks, try and rebuild for that future. Teams are always trying to rebuild for the future, except for the Browns. I think Miles goes to Tampa. He was talking to Mike and Baker down there at the Pro Bowl the other day, last weekend.
Where in a perfect world, where would you see Myles Garrett going, Rich?
I could see him going somewhere in the NFC. Because they're not going to trade him within the conference.
I was thinking Vegas or maybe Detroit, and also Dave is here. Everyone inform Carter. Dave is here.
Dave's here.
Dave's
have
here.
Him and Hutchinson on the ends. I mean, that would be a ferocious front four.
And then I think that's a good spot for him, especially if Detroit would draft somebody like Tyleik Williams.
Oh my God.
Tyleik Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, and Myles Garrett. I praise you. Good luck, offensive linemen.
Good luck, rest of the NFC.
Just real quick here, we'll go through these quarterback battles. I had Ty Simpson, Jackson Arnold, Caden Salter narrowly winning that battle, and then Julian Lewis probably taking it over. I think Stockton keeps the job. Underwood, I don't know how you don't play him. I think C.J. Carr emerges, and I think Julian Sayin is the bookend starter at Ohio State. Do you disagree with any of that?
I think Mikey Keene will be the starter the first 3 games, and if Michigan struggles throwing the football, scoring points, Moore will start the freshman. Gunnar Stockton, he'll start. I think Deuce Knight's gonna shock the world. I think he's gonna get the starting job. 5-star within Alabama. Oh, that kid's gonna be unbelievable.
Mississippi, but I don't know. He's young, and I don't know. I think you don't pay Jackson Arnold $2 million not to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't.
I'm also curious to see how that quarterback situation out in Colorado is.
Yeah, there was a stat that I just told the people about that I seen the other day. 60% of top 10 quarterbacks transfer. That's over 50%.
That's way over 50%.
So I would say that who are the top 10s on this list? Russell, Knight, Lewis, Underwood, Carr, St. Clair, Sayin. Sayin's already transferred. Keenholz has been there. St. Clair's a freshman. Carr's been there. Minchie, Angeli, all been there. I think Salter's a transfer. Jackson Arnold is a transfer. I'm not sure about. I think Ty Simpson's has been there, but the crazy thing is I think Ty Simpson wins that job at Alabama. And I think it'll be interesting to look how different that offense will look. And they'll say look at Ryan Grubb. I think he just got a better quarterback, dog.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to the QB, dude.
I think the most important guy on the field touches the ball the most is kind of going to help you win games. But
he might have a thing or two with that,
So, and then we'll move on to the last small Notre Dame tidbits we got here. We got the Finley crystal ball wide receiver to Notre Dame. I think that will be a big get for them if they can, get the kid locked down. Wide receiver recruiting has been something Notre Dame has struggled with. So I think that is definitely key in this. And then also the Notre Dame spring game has been announced for April 12th, which is early, but I'm not 100% sure. But if people start canceling their spring games, I think Notre Dame will follow suit, but that's just me.
April 12th, that's a Monday. No, that's May. No, hold on, I was looking at the wrong month. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's okay. That's the week before Easter. Yeah.
And if it was up to me, I would just make the whole month of April the transfer portal window, like the NFL has free agency, and then have OTAs in June and July.
I'm on board with you 100% with that.
Yeah, I agree with I would tend to agree with Dave's here. I think Underwood should start from maybe day one, but we'll see. I don't think Sharon Moore is in the business of messing around because I mean, you've seen the anemic quarterback play last year, but then again, they can hang their hat on as we beat Ohio State.
That they did. That they did.
So that is where we're at. I haven't seen anything just too off the cuff here on what we got going. Nothing too crazy. Check the wild web here. Uh, I guess the other big news is Luka Doncic getting traded. What are you doing?
Yeah. Think Silver will veto that trade?
No, because I heard the tinfoil hats talking today. Carr. Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. If CJ Carr doesn't play, he's leaving in the spring. One of the big things is, and also Chip Kelly leaving.
Yeah, that's. Hey, he got his natty. We'll see who they bring in at quarterback out in Vegas.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jackson Dart in that offense. But Pete Carroll's a little off the cuff, and I'm sure he's got a whole game plan. But also, Ole Miss basketball is taking Kentucky to the woodshed. They are up 19 with 9 minutes to go.
Ouch. Carter. Ouch.
Mark Price is probably getting fired soon. They're 15.
The Mark Price from the Cavs?
Or no, what's Kentucky's basketball coach's name? Mr. Cats. I thought his name was Mark Price, but yeah, not looking good.
They lost to Ohio State.
Kentucky did?
Yeah.
Or Pope. Mark Pope, yeah.
Mark Pope. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Carter's gonna be pulling his hair out at this. I mean, he is a proud alum of Kentucky, and they are losing to Ole Miss basketball, a poverty program. And they lost, and he's dropping 2 in a row, 1 to Ole Miss and 1 to Arkansas.
Kansas? Really?
There was a lot of criticism, real quick, while we got a minute here. There was a lot of criticism going on with the folks at Kentucky because I guess they were booing Cal, and it's like, what are you booing him for? Like you were one bad hire away from being kind of irrelevant since Pitino, in my opinion. But
yeah, I haven't watched any college basketball. I think I watched the Kent Akron game and Kent got blown out.
That is the most Northeast Ohio thing ever.
Hey, I could have went last Friday night, but I couldn't. Fatherly duties. What the hell is going
on? But yeah, so I think we have a very interesting thing. I guess allegedly, one of the headlines on ESPN, Jim Knowles said that Penn State is so close to a national championship. Last question of the night for Dave's here. What the hell is going on in the SEC basketball? The good teams are bad and a bunch of teams are good. I guess the SEC is a basketball league. Well, they've raised more resources than anybody in basketball, but just don't be the guy from Rhode Island that said ever since the SEC play has opened up, they are 54-54.
It's a great record. Breaking even.
Just let that sink in for some people out there. Just let it sink in. No, I think Kentucky's overrated per usual, but Mark Pope is definitely in trouble. I mean, he lost to Cal at home in Rupp. It's rough stuff, man.
Very rough, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Cal. And they lost to Clemson.
Yeah, not looking good.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that being said, everybody out there watching, tuning in, please hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. We are trying to do it big time here. We're going to be coming back at you all week long, but no Saturday shows. So, yeah, Carter's now Coach Cal doesn't know how to lose at Rupp. But with that being said, everybody have a good night, and thanks for watching. And it is February, so the Super Bowl is around the corner. Out of a 10 jalapeno scale, how excited I am on the football Super Bowl, I'm about a 0. I think the Luka Doncic trade is more interesting, or whatever's going on with Kentucky basketball is way more interesting than the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion. But
I have not watched any of the press conferences or nothing. I saw stuff this morning at the gym. I mean, hey, I'm more excited about the Hall of Fame class in 6 months. Who's getting in?
I just don't care about the Super Bowl. I just don't. I really don't.
I think everybody's over the Chiefs.
But with that being said, everybody have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.